Hi, this is Cary with Wicked Stocks, bringing you the weekly S&P 500 Spider ETF video analysis, symbol SPY, commonly known as the SPY. This is broad brushstroke analysis. You'll have some key levels you can work with and directional likelihoods because of those key line studies I'll be showing you in a moment. Before I jump into the charts, I just want to let you know that there's also the daily SPY that starts Monday, October 4th, and will continue indefinitely. It'll be free as well for the first week or two, but then in order to get the daily SPY, which will be a more fine-tuned analysis that will allow us to look at daily charts and different speed lines and Fibonacci retracements, intro week pivot points that are good for several days that you really can't glean very well from a weekly chart. That will become a paid element over the next couple of weeks, part of the premium membership of Wicked Stocks. The premium membership is, by the way, a minimum of two stock picks a week, in which I provide specific price and support levels, buy signals generally on a 2 to 3 week to 2 to 3 month basis over a wide range of different stocks from small, mid, and large cap. So I'm not going to get into that too heavily. Let's jump into the SPY itself. This is actually for the week of Monday, October 4th. You're looking at a weekly bar chart. I'll be showing you the same weekly bar chart throughout. Let's start with the trend line that I had shown you prior to the testing of it about 5 weeks ago. It is still a line study that can contain monthly buying pressures. We're not going to see it this week. We may see it in a few weeks if we get a buy signal above a key point that I'll be showing you in a moment. But I'm just putting it out there that holding below that trend line does now allow 413.16. That channel bottom you can see in this chart now over the next week, 2 or 3. We did close below that intermediate channel bottom at 442.31. Last week it was lower. This week 442.31. That channel structure able to contain buying for the week itself, and below which we should over the next week or two fall back to 413.16, where this market, the SPY, can bottom out through the rest of the year. Once tested, rally back up to what would be the channel top at 464.13. Right now, 464.13 is a mere trend line that goes back over a full year of activity to the August 20 high. And so just sort of bottom line this, 442.31 can contain weekly buying pressures, and below which we can this week, the end of next week at the latest, continue south to 413.16, where the market can bottom out through the rest of the year, and from there rally back to new highs within several months. I will say this, that if we close the week below 413.16, we have an October sell-off on our hands, which does happen, not every October, but very often in the September-October timing, we get the big sell-off, and that would then play out, in my opinion. If we close this week below 413.16, we should within just another 2 to 3 weeks, because I think volatility will then be heightened even more than what it is now. That 366.16 channel bottom then expected within several weeks, which would put us into very late October. That 366.16 formation able to contain selling not only through the rest of the year, but even through 2022. And from there, we can push on to new highs within a matter of 3 to 5 months and continue onward and upward well into next year. Let's talk upside, that if we did close above 442.31 this week. Now I'm going to say even a daily settlement, but I will say, I'm going to show you here, the high last week was 444.05, and that is the lowest we've been since the high was put out in August. So if you wanted to tweak this a little bit and say not only do we settle above the 442.31 channel bottom, but also above last week's 444.05 high, then we have a complete reversal. Any day this week, let's just be safe and say above the 444.05 high from last week. Any daily settlement this week above 444.05 should then yield 454.05 within 3 to 5 days, kind of guessing there. And then overall, assuming we close the week back above, the 444.05, a high from last week, in addition to, of course, the 442.31 channel bottom, we should then have placed a good October low. The next 2 to 3 weeks then likely to continue on and up to that 464.13 trend line once again, where we can top out by that point in time, perhaps through November. But I'll leave you with this. Closing above 464.13 at the end of any week, we have ourselves longer-term bullish continuation, a sign that over the next several months we should continue into the low 500 area, 509.53, then expected within 2 to 3 months of closing above 464.13 at the end of this week. That 509.53 formation likely to contain at least quarterly buying pressures when tested. I think that's all really needs to be said for this week's SPY video analysis.